We're gonna see how it turns the table there. But all right, let's switch it up, man. So I know you're a big hip hop dude. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, you used to rap, right? You used to spit back in the day. That's the
Long
logo,
time.
right? The logo is you, right?
Yep, yep, yep. It's me.
That's what's up. So, all right, and I'm not gonna judge you for who you say. Well, it depends on who you say, but I'm not gonna judge you if you disagree. I mean, I'm gonna do a yes and, you know what I'm saying. But anyway,
Okay, okay.
who is your who to you? Who is your goat? Like, who is the goat? Who is the greatest rapper of all time?
I that's a tough question, and I hate to be that guy, bro. I really do because someone's gonna be like, "Oh, he's gotta be that guy." Like you just keep. I could pick one. I could say, in my opinion, Andre 3000 has always been the goat to me. I've always looked at KRS-One like that dude is the goat to me.
Okay,
But there's so different. There's so as I get older, I start looking at hip hop music a little differently. Like there's so many different levels that MCs become the MC, and I'm like, I don't know. Like I don't know how do you answer that question? It's like the whole like NBA goat. Like
okay,
there's different eras. There's different styles. There's like who's truly the goat. But I for me personally, like I grew up like out ATLiens by Outkast was the album that was like, yo, I want to rap. Rickle effortlessly just said some weird ass shit where it made you rewind it. Yeah, I said rewind because that's what we did. We had to rewind the tape
yeah, yeah,
and like
yeah,
listen
yeah, yeah.
to it again. You know what I mean? Like, what is he saying here? So that would be to me, but I'm also very aware of like the mainstream MCs and like the underground scene that a lot of people aren't getting the shine that have been around for decades. That
Okay,
are they considered the goat if they were to get the shine? Who knows? Who
yeah.
knows?
Who knows? Who knows? All right. So so obviously, I think the consensus maybe. Yeah, I mean, because like I would say the Michael Jordan of rap probably, what I mean, is Jay-Z, right? Like I think a lot of people kind of recognize him to be the greatest of all time. And you can pick it apart if you want to, but like just think about the longevity, think about the impact, think about the influence, think about the business, even, I mean, of hip hop. Who all together, who checks all the boxes. And I think the consensus, and for me, he's my GOAT, you know what I'm saying? But there's a video out there, and the thing is, I've heard this narrative before, but there's a video out there that is talking about how, like, I guess they're questioning his GOAT level, because they're like, there was never a time where Jay-Z was the hottest or best rapper in the game. So let me share that video, and like we're gonna react
Yeah.
to this. All right, so go, man.
The best rapper in the game. Jay-Z came in the game in 1996. I think we can all agree that's Tupac's year. 1997, Biggie died. In 1998, which was kind of his breakout year, DMX had two #1 albums in that year. 1999, DMX again, who outsold Jay-Z by a big margin. 2000, Nelly and Eminem both went down. Now, 2001 would have been the best argument, but then Ludacris came in the game with hits like Area Codes, Move, Bitch, Roll Out. 2002, here go Eminem again, dropping the Eminem Show, another diamond album. As well as Nelly dropping another album that sold like 7 million. Jay-Z, 2003 was obviously 50 Cent's year. He retired, came back in 2006. At that point, T.I. was on top of the game. 2007 undoubtedly goes to Kanye, graduation year, can't be serious. And 2008 to like 2011 clearly goes to Lil Wayne. So at what point was he the hottest rapper in the game? There is no, he was indisputably.
So that's the thing. Like, I think this is a semantic argument right there, because he says he did say best or hottest rapper, but then he said at what point was he ever the hottest rapper? And I think that's the thing. No, Jay-Z probably was never the hottest rapper, whatever, but like hottest don't necessarily make you the best. There's a lot of guys that are hot right now that don't hold a candle to like probably any, what I mean, any of the top 50 rappers, so to speak, whatever. So like, I don't know. I feel like we're having that's a semantic thing where it's like, all right, we grading somebody on just their record sales, because when you look at it, right, they talking about 96. Jay-Z's last album was what, 2017, right? So that's 21 years of albums. I mean, he got like 14 #1 albums. I think that just shows the longevity, even despite there other being people that were like more relevant or even hotter or maybe outsold him. he's the constant. Like he's the constant throughout all that time, whatever. So what do you kind of think about what they said about Jay-Z in that regard? Did you ever look at him as like, yeah, I mean, because you didn't say he was your GOAT, but did you ever recognize him as like, oh yeah, he's the man? Like, or
Sure.
when was that? When did he arrive to you? I guess.
I think for me, he arrived. It wasn't right away for me, but I feel like as time went on, probably like, I don't know, probably about like 10, 15 years ago,
Okay.
because you're right. He, even though he wasn't probably dropping the hottest shit, it wasn't like he wasn't dropping hot shit.
Yeah,
And a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
and everybody like watching that video, and I don't know who that was, but the gentleman kept naming who was dropping the hottest album. And I'm like, not for nothing, but I mean, where is Nelly? Like, even when you talk about DMX, like DMX had two #1 albums that year. For me, those two albums were fucking phenomenal. But
yes,
Jay-Z was on, I'm pretty sure, on X's second album. Even if he wasn't, he ended up trying to form that group with Ja Rule.
yeah, yeah,
So, and then you look at Kanye, that's through Jay-Z's camp, that first album. So
yeah,
one way or another, his hands are in the mix. I don't like. You're right. It is a semantics game, because it's when I hear people making these arguments, I'm like, okay, I see what you're saying, but you're almost saying if he didn't drop the hottest album, then he's not a GOAT. He's consistently putting shit out. Not only that, to have like collaborations and features, like there's artists right now that will pay whatever they need to just to get a 16 or even like he does like these 32 bar verses now
yeah, yeah.
or more, just because he is who he is. The song may not have nothing to do with what he's talking about, but the fact that he's on it, it's a dope ass track. So I personally don't have any problems if somebody's like, I feel like he's the GOAT. He's everything that he's doing and how he was able to maintain the momentum and switch up and do things differently. And, the whole shit with Dame and how
Yeah.
Rockefeller kind of, the whole fam that kind of was involved in there is no longer together, but he had to reinvent himself to stay consistent. And I feel
Yes.
like that is you can take notes from that. If anybody should be uh giving out classes in that, it should be Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I got no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, Jay-Z is I think he's one of those people, because I think when I was, getting into rap when I was a younger kid, obviously, yeah, you are going for whatever was hot, like the hottest at that time. Like, yeah, you probably were listening to a little bit of Country Grammar from Nelly. You were listening to
Yeah.
50 Cent with, like, when 2003 was crazy. But yeah, Jay-Z was always there, and Jay-Z had, what I mean, he was a part of the biggest and probably the best rap group, what I mean, a collective, I mean, because they had State Property. Dipset was a part of Rockefeller at one point in time, and it was just like, yo, but you got this guy, he's like the general of all of that, what I mean, so to speak. And yeah, he always was that constant. But Jay-Z is one of them rappers, like, truly you can listen back to his older stuff and it really ages like wine. Like, that's how I've always felt, about it. And it wasn't probably until I was like a senior in high school to where, like, I'm really digging back into his old stuff, and I'm thinking like, oh snap, because I listened to this stuff maybe when it came out at one point in time, but like really digging into it, I'm like, yo, this dude is the GOAT. Like he really is the GOAT. And for me, I think it was like the blueprint, like 2001. I think that's when he planted his flag. It's like, all right, I'm here. I'm here forever. Like y'all gonna remember me. Like, on that album, that's when he came at Nas. That's the Takeover album. That's
Yeah.
that's when H to the Izzo. So like that was that song itself. That's like a just a Jay-Z anthem, like just about him. Like, I'm here. Like, I'm the the God, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just felt like his music has always stood the test of time. Like, even the old stuff, even Reasonable Doubt stuff. Like, you could still listen to that stuff, and nobody raps like Jay-Z though. You know what I mean? Like he's truly original. Like, nobody raps like him. Nobody can really steal his flow. And I just think, like, yeah, and like you said, like he's sought after. Like, if he drops a verse or 32 whatever on your track, it's like automatically like the most talked about track. Like, you know what I mean? And he's done
Yeah.
that now in the last several years, where it's like everybody waiting for that verse, and you're like, oh, Jay-Z went crazy, you know what I mean? And he's just talking
Yeah,
about just different stuff, like
that's
not
what I
even
think.
necessarily like Nas, like whatever, but he's just talking about life and business and just, and
Right.
you could see his ascension like the whole way. But
Yep. I was getting ready to say that even with his bars, when you listen back to Reasonable Doubt, his flow is still dope, but you can see like where he grew from that, like
yeah,
the maturity level in his rhymes and what he's talking about. But even though he's grown and he's talking about different things, it's still so dope just to listen to him drop something. And it's
yeah,
like there's times where I may listen to something new that he's done or a feature and be like, well, that's something different. And then
yeah,
I'll listen to it again. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of gems. There's a lot of things that he drops with and the fact that he doesn't write anything down,
yeah.
that's unique for me. When he did the collaboration album with Linkin Park is
Okay.
where I'm like, oh, you can really switch it up
Yeah.
and adapt. um that was dope to me. So yeah, man, I don't think we're gonna see anybody like him for some time, but I also understand, like, if you and I are coming from a certain era where we were lucky enough to see the beginning of Jay-Z. So maybe there's some of these young cats, hopefully like 20 some years from now, will have a catalog
Yeah.
where they can, like I think of the J. Cole's, like I think of like the Kendrick Lamar's that like 20 years from now, they're already there where they could really probably step into that upper echelon conversation, like the goats. But yeah, Jay-Z without a doubt, man. That's anything he writes, even though I may not be a fan of the song itself, I'll always enjoy listening to his bars.
Yeah. What's your favorite Jay-Z album? Or maybe you think the best Jay-Z album you think?
Um, the Reasonable Doubt, that's a special one for me because well, forgive me, it's Reasonable Doubt, but it's also the second one he came out with, Volume
Okay,
One.
Volume 1, yeah, yeah.
I actually saw Jay-Z perform at the Millersville, um, like the Millersville gym. I forget the
Yeah,
name of it. Him and KRS-One came. I got a ticket for like 20 some dollars to see
right.
Jay-Z and KRS-One. Yeah. And my mom was like, you got to be home by 1. And I was like, all right. Like it started at 8. So I got to see Jay-Z perform live, and it was
That's
like,
dope.
it was like just seeing him like so close to me, and he was just rhyming, but he had such a huge entourage with him, and
For
a
real.
bunch of,
Yeah.
yeah. But the reason why I say this,
That's probably when he was still hustling a little bit, you know what I mean? Like
oh
he
yeah,
yeah.
Biggie had just died,
Oh
and so
wow.
yeah, there was like this vibe where he was kind of like taking over he was taking the torch, so to speak, and it was like you could tell. But the reason why I bring that up is because it was that time, that era, that's really special to me. So when I listen to Reasonable Doubt, when I listen to Volume One, um I don't as he kind of like grew, I never really followed his music religiously where I
Okay.
was like, you know what I mean, like I knew every song, but obviously the hits and the bars and and the features, I was always kind of like privy to it and always appreciated when I heard it. But yeah, but Reasonable Doubt is his style is different.
Yeah.
He still has that same cadence. It's just what he's talking about it's just different now. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's a dope artist, man.
Yeah, definitely. I think his best album is probably, I mean, overall body where I think it is Blueprint, the first Blueprint. It just like from start to finish, it's I think it's flawless. Like I think,
Yeah,
I could play that, I could literally play that album anytime. And I think because there was a time where we were just like it's way past that album and we were listening to that album like every day, like you know what I mean, maybe just kind of stuck. And I think, yeah, like just something about the takeover, like that is like that's one of my favorite diss tracks of all time.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? And people were like, oh, Ether was better or he killed it. I'm like, no, but like it's a better song though. Like it's like you could play that song and it's just like just the way the beat comes in, you know what I mean? Like he had an amazing production, like, you know what I mean? Like, and so I don't want to say he had help over the years, but like, yeah, he's had a good machine, he's had a good team around him, but
sure,
like
sure.
it's
Even
amazing.
even performing that song, he performed it on Unplugged on MTV.
Yeah, yeah.
He performed it with the Roots band.
Mm,
So that's when I like really listened to the lyrics of that song. And that was probably one of my favorite like battles, if you want to consider that. Pretty, that was when rhyming was like they really went for the jugular.
Yeah.
I personally think Ether was the better diss track, but I do feel that the takeover held its own. Like I don't feel like anybody lost. I just feel like they both really put each other in their place. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was a fan. I was a fan of that. Like you don't see that anymore. It's different now. And I'm not trying to sound like an old head, but it's different now. But yeah, man, Ether and the takeover. I can listen to that now and just you make that screw face.
Yeah, yeah. That.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. And I did get to see Jay-Z one time. Is actually Watch the Throne tour. I saw him in Atlantic City at Boardwalk Hall. And that was a crazy concert because it was like that's like one of his like, you know, that moment too with him and Kanye and like them like, you know, kind of just exerting their dominance over the game. And they had the dual stage. It was crazy. It was crazy, man. Like you could when he did You Don't Know and like turn my music high, like you get the flame, the pyrotechnics, like you could feel the flames. It was crazy. Like it was I'm always gonna remember that concert, man. So but yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, man, definitely to me the GOAT. And I don't think you don't have to be the hottest rapper to be the best rapper, so to speak. I mean, and even there, like Andre 3000 was never, because yeah, I respect you saying 3K, you know what I'm saying? But he was never like there was never a time where he was like the hottest rapper, but he's most consistent, like he can paint pictures like nobody else, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so
Yeah.